Have you ever felt like you're constantly on the verge of a breakdown, trying to please everyone, trying to hold everything together while the weight of your problems just keeps growing? I know what it's like to be in that position, that feeling that life is pushing you against the wall. And no matter how hard you try to be strong, something or someone always ends up breaking you from the inside. It's as if the pressure is too much, and even when you try to stay calm, you feel at the mercy of the circumstances, with no control over your own life. Maybe you've been told that you need to be stronger, that you need to hang in there, and that it will pass. But deep down, those words feel empty when the pressure doesn't ease up. The problem is that more often than not, we try to be strong without the right tools. We try to face life's challenges without knowing how to really protect our minds and hearts from the pressures around us. I'm here to tell you that there is a way to change this, a way to stop being that person who always gives in, who always feels the crushing weight of others' expectations, and becomes someone unshakable, someone who, instead of breaking, becomes stronger in the face of adversity. The answer lies in a philosophy that has helped people for centuries: Stoicism. Stoicism isn't something complicated or beyond our reach. It's actually a set of simple, powerful practices that can be applied to our daily lives. Imagine if, in 30 days, you could transform the way you face difficulties, how you deal with pressure, and how you react to negative situations. Imagine being able to look at problems and, instead of feeling destroyed, find a calm that comes from within, a confidence that you can overcome anything. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how you can become that unshakable person in just 30 days, applying Stoic teachings to your life. I'll give you the tools so that you stop giving in under pressure and finally feel like you're in control of yourself. If you're tired of feeling weak, if you're ready to take control of your life and stop letting situations and people bring you down, this video is for you. Before we begin, if you're already subscribed to the channel, give this video a like in confidence that we're about to share something transformational. And if you're new here, subscribe to the channel, because every week I bring videos that can truly take your life to the next level. Many people don't reach their dreams and goals because they can't stop procrastinating, which is why I'm offering my ebook, Beat Procrastination with Stoic Philosophy, the definitive guide to success. Downloading it is simple. Just click the link in the first pinned comment and start making that change today. Let's begin. I want to talk to you about a quality that, perhaps without even realizing it, has saved your life many times: resilience. You see, resilience isn't something reserved for a privileged few. We all have it. It's like a seed that holds the potential to grow into a strong tree. But just as a seed needs to be watered and nourished, our resilience also needs to be cultivated. Life isn't linear. It comes with unexpected turns, with highs and lows that often leave us feeling lost. There are moments when we feel powerless, when the challenges seem bigger than we are, and it is precisely in these moments that resilience becomes essential. I'm not here to tell you that being resilient means not feeling fear or not being affected by problems. Quite the opposite. Being resilient is about feeling all of that, and yet still getting up and moving forward. It's about allowing yourself to feel, but not allowing yourself to give up. I remember a difficult phase in my life. Perhaps you've been through something similar. I was surrounded by uncertainties, and it felt like nothing was going right. That's when I came across a quote by Epictetus that changed my perspective. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. I realized that although I couldn't control every difficulty that came my way, I could control how I reacted to them. And that is the key to resilience. Understanding that while we don't have power over what happens to us, we have full control over how we choose to deal with those situations. When you understand this, you start seeing every challenge as an opportunity to grow. Difficulties stop being enemies and become allies in building who you truly are. Each fall teaches us to get up with more strength. Each loss shows us the real value of things. And each frustration teaches us the importance of persistence. And do you know what I've learned? That the strongest people we know are not those who have never faced problems. On the contrary, they are the ones who, in the face of life's storms, chose to lift their heads and carry on. Resilience isn't about being invincible, but about being unshakable, about being able to reinvent yourself and start again as many times as needed. Now I'd like you to reflect on this. What was the most challenging moment in your life when you had to be resilient? How did you feel going through it? And how did it change you? I know that talking about our struggles can be difficult, but it can also be a powerful way to help others feel less alone. If you can, share your story in the comments. Use the phrase, "I am resilient," and tell us what you learned from that experience. This isn't just a request to engage the video. It's an invitation for us to come together as human beings who are learning to cultivate their strength together. Remember, within you already lies an immense strength, waiting to be revealed. Cultivate that strength, nurture your resilience, and on difficult days, remember that every challenge is an opportunity to become even stronger. Resilience is undoubtedly an incredible strength that we can all develop, and it reminds us of our power to overcome any adversity. But this journey of inner strengthening is not just about getting back up after every fall. There is a very ancient teaching from the Stoics that perfectly complements this ability to be resilient: the focus on our reactions and personal actions. After all, if we cannot control what happens around us, we can always control what happens within us. And this is where Stoic philosophy comes in. Stoicism teaches that in a world full of uncertainties, true peace and strength do not come from trying to control what is beyond our reach, but rather from focusing on what is within our control, our attitudes, thoughts, and actions. I wonder, how many times have you stressed or lost your peace over something beyond your control? I know I've experienced this many times. I used to get anxious about situations I couldn't change, frustrated by the behavior of others, trying in vain to control the uncontrollable, until I understood a simple but powerful principle. If I cannot change a situation, why let it steal my peace? I can indeed change the way I react to it. Stoicism invites us to look within, to focus on what is truly ours, our thoughts, our emotions, our choices. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not external events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This means that our greatest freedom lies in deciding how we will react to each situation life presents us with. It's like a shield that protects us from the chaos outside, because while the world out there may be unpredictable, what happens inside is always a territory we can conquer. So, the next time you feel like you're being swept away by a storm of emotions, stop and ask yourself, is this under my control? If it's not, let it go. Direct your energy towards what can be done, towards how you can act in the face of what is happening. This shift in focus is liberating and brings a priceless lightness. I'd like to invite you to reflect. What is it today in your life that has been stealing your peace even though you can't control it? And what can you do to change your perspective on it? Write in the comments. I choose to focus on what is under my control and share how you can apply this wisdom in your daily life. When we understand that our strength lies in what is within our reach, we gain unparalleled freedom. By understanding that control lies in our reactions and not in external events, we begin to see how our energy can be directed more productively. And here lies one of the main teachings of Stoicism: knowing how to distinguish what is within our control from what is not. This understanding is like a map that guides us through uncertainties, freeing us from frustration and allowing us to live more fully. It's curious how many times we waste our energy trying to change what is unchangeable. We worry about the opinions of others, the weather, the decisions of others. Has this ever happened to you? I've lost sleepless nights trying to anticipate every detail of something that was completely beyond my reach. It was a hard lesson to realize that the only thing I had control over was how I responded to these events. Imagine the difference this can make in your life. Instead of spending your energy worrying about what you cannot change, you start to channel that strength towards what really matters, your attitudes and choices. This doesn't mean we should be indifferent to problems. On the contrary, it's about being wise enough to know where we can really make a difference. A story that always comes to my mind is about a friend who went through a very tough time. He lost his job, and for a while, it seemed like his world had fallen apart. But instead of getting stuck on what he couldn't change, he decided to focus on what was under his control: his learning, his skills, and his willingness to look for new opportunities. Today, he has an even better career than before, and is a living example of how directing energy to what matters can transform our reality. As Seneca said, most of our unhappiness doesn't come from things themselves, but from our attitude towards them. It's a powerful reminder that by accepting what we cannot change, we free ourselves from the anxiety and frustration that so often paralyzes us. Thus, we can place our attention on what is truly within our reach and act with clarity and purpose. So, how about we do this together? I'd like to know, what is the situation in your life that you need to accept and stop trying to control? Write in the comments. I choose to focus on what I can control, and share an example of how this change in focus can bring more peace and productivity to your day-to-day life. Your experience can inspire and help others who, like you, are seeking to live with more lightness and purpose. Remember, Accepting what we cannot change is not weakness, but one of the most powerful forms of freedom we can achieve. It gives us the clarity to act in a productive and directed manner, transforming our life from the inside out. When we begin to accept what we cannot control, a transformation happens. Challenges stop being an unbearable burden and start becoming opportunities for growth. This is exactly what Stoicism teaches us about obstacles. They are not hindrances, but opportunities. We need to reshape how we look at difficulties and see them as chances to become stronger. It's as if every challenge were a teacher. Every obstacle that appears on our path teaches us something we need to learn, whether it's patience, strength, humility, or resilience. I like to think that instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" Stoicism invites us to ask, "What can I learn from this?" And this simple shift in perspective can completely transform our experience with problems. I remember a situation when I was facing a major challenge at work. It was something that seemed impossible to solve, and I felt cornered. Frustration overwhelmed me, and I just wanted it to be over. Then I stopped and decided to face the problem differently. Instead of seeing it as a burden, I asked myself, how can I grow from this? How can I use this situation to become better? That's when everything started to change. What once seemed unbearable became a motivation to learn new skills, to seek creative solutions, and to develop more patience. When we see challenges as allies in our development, we begin to discover an inner strength that often we didn't even know we had. There's a quote by Marcus Aurelius that always inspires me. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Obstacles are not barriers to our progress. They are the very path that leads us to growth. This doesn't mean it will be easy, but it does mean that every difficult moment brings with it an opportunity to reinvent oneself, to learn something new, and to come out on the other side even stronger. Think for a moment. What challenge are you facing now that could be seen as an opportunity? Perhaps it's a problem at work, a difficulty in relationships, or even an unexpected change. I invite you to share your experience in the comments. Writing, "I turn obstacles into growth." By sharing, you not only reaffirm your commitment to seeing challenges as opportunities, but also inspire others to do the same. Life is full of ups and downs, and it's in these difficult moments that we find our true potential. There is no growth without challenges, and each obstacle faced with courage is a step further towards our best selves. When we learn to see challenges as opportunities, we gain the strength and courage to keep moving forward. But there is something that often underpins this entire process: self-discipline. Without it, our resilience, focus, and ability to reshape challenges do not hold up. Self-discipline is the foundation that keeps us steady even when everything seems to fall apart. I remember a story my grandmother used to tell me when I was a child. It was the story of a man named Dario, who lived in a small village surrounded by mountains. Dario was known in the village for his willpower. He would wake up every day before dawn and climb the highest mountain in the region. Many didn't understand why he did this. Why bother climbing that mountain every day? His neighbors would ask. They thought it was unnecessary effort, something that brought no benefit. But Dario had a reason. He knew that one day he would need that strength. Sooner or later, life tests us, and he wanted to be prepared. And that's exactly what happened. During a harsh winter, a terrible storm hit the village. The roads were blocked, and access to the nearest town was impossible. The people were trapped, and many began to lose hope. But not Dario. He knew that because he had climbed that mountain so many times, he had developed the strength and endurance needed to seek help. And that's what he did. While everyone else saw obstacles, Dario saw a mission. He crossed the mountain, faced the cold and the difficulties, and brought back the supplies the village desperately needed. Dario's self-discipline wasn't something he practiced just to prove himself. It was a daily practice that prepared him for the moments that truly mattered. And that's how we should approach self-discipline in our lives. It's not about following strict rules or depriving ourselves of good things. It's about aligning our actions with our values and what's most important to us, even when it's hard. How many times, in the face of a challenge, do we feel weak because we haven't cultivated the discipline needed to face it? Discipline gives us power. It's what allows us to act in accordance with our values, even when circumstances aren't favorable. It's getting up early to chase our dreams, saying no to what takes us away from our goals, and continuing when everything inside us wants to stop. Just as Dario climbed the mountain every day, we need to find our own mountains, those daily practices that challenge us, help us grow, and prepare us for when life truly tests us. Self-discipline is a constant exercise, and it is through it that we build a robust and resilient mental state. I invite you to reflect. What is your mountain? What is that small act of discipline that you can cultivate every day, which over time will make you stronger and more prepared for life's challenges? Write in the comments, "I climb my mountain every day," and share what this act of discipline is that you are willing to practice. Who knows? Your story could be the inspiration someone needs to start climbing their own mountain. It is through discipline that we build our inner strength. It's not about what we do when everything is easy, but about what we choose to do even when the path is difficult. The mountain may be steep, but each step makes us stronger and more prepared for life's storms. We've passed the halfway point of the video, and since you've made it this far, I'd ask you to leave a like so I can bring more content like this in the future. Stay with me until the end of this video, because what I'm about to share is something few people know, but it makes all the difference in achieving truly impactful results. Self-discipline gives us strength, but there is another essential aspect of developing resilience: embracing discomfort. Learning to face discomfort is fundamental for us to grow and become stronger. And I can tell you this from personal experience. There was a time in my life when I avoided anything that took me out of my comfort zone. I liked routine, predictability, everything that gave me a sense of security. But life, as we know, doesn't respect our comfort zones. I remember when I received a job offer in another city. It was an incredible opportunity, but I would have to leave everything I knew behind: my friends, my family, my home. And to be honest, the idea terrified me. I thought, what if it doesn't work out? What if I fail? The fear of the unknown almost prevented me from accepting that offer. But I knew deep down that if I let fear control me, I would never grow. I was comfortable where I was, but I knew staying there meant stagnation. That's when I made the most difficult, but also the most important decision. I embraced discomfort and moved. The first few months were challenging. I felt lost, lonely, far from everything familiar. But little by little, I began to realize that each difficulty was making me stronger. I learned to adapt, to face challenges without the safety of always having someone around, and to trust myself. Facing discomfort wasn't easy, but it transformed me in ways I never imagined possible. Today, looking back, I see that that discomfort was exactly what I needed to grow. And this is the truth. Avoiding discomfort prevents us from strengthening our resilience. When we embrace discomfort, we become mentally stronger and less intimidated by adversity. After all, if we can overcome that fear, that challenge that seemed insurmountable, what else can we achieve? I'd like to ask you, what uncomfortable situation have you been avoiding? Maybe it's a change you need to make, a difficult conversation you've been putting off, or even a new path you're afraid to take. Write in the comments, "I embrace discomfort to grow," and share a challenge you're willing to face. By embracing discomfort, you not only challenge your limits, but also open the door to becoming the best version of yourself. Discomfort is a sign that we're moving forward, that we're growing. It may not be easy, but each step outside our comfort zone strengthens us and prepares us for the battles life has in store. Embrace discomfort and watch the transformation happen. When I accepted that discomfort is a part of growth, I realized that to become more resilient, I needed to know myself deeply. Self-awareness is the next step on this journey. It is about reflecting on our thoughts, actions, and emotions to understand who we truly are and how we can improve. I remember a phase of my life when I was constantly irritated. It was as if every little thing set me off. The traffic, a misunderstood conversation, a long queue at the supermarket. It felt like the world was against me, and I couldn't understand why I felt that way. For a long time, I blamed my surroundings. After all, the traffic was chaotic, people could indeed be impatient, and the queues were endless. But deep down, I knew there was more to it. That was when I decided to take some time for myself, to really understand what was happening inside me. I started keeping a journal. At first, it felt silly, just a bunch of words on paper. But the more I wrote, the more I discovered. I began to realize that my irritation wasn't about the traffic or other people. It was about a dissatisfaction I was carrying, something I hadn't resolved within myself. I was frustrated with the lack of progress in certain areas of my life, and instead of dealing with it, I was letting that frustration spill over into other situations. Realizing this was a turning point for me. It wasn't a quick or easy process, but it was liberating. The more I understood my emotions, the more I could control my reactions. Self-awareness is powerful because it allows us to see beyond the surface, understand the patterns that weaken us, and gives us the chance to change them. I remember one particular day when I was stuck in traffic, just like so many times before. Instead of feeling that old irritation, I stopped, took a deep breath, and asked myself, why am I reacting like this? And for the first time, I could see the situation for what it was. Just traffic, nothing more. It wasn't a personal attack. It wasn't something against me. It was just an event. Something beyond my control. And at that moment, I felt a peace I had never felt before. It wasn't the situation that changed, but my way of looking at it. True strength doesn't come from controlling what happens around us, but from understanding and controlling what happens within us. Each reflection, each time we pause to question our reactions, is an opportunity for growth, and that's what makes us resilient. I invite you to do the same. Take a moment out of your day to reflect on your thoughts and emotions. What is really behind your reactions? What patterns are holding you back from being the person you want to be? Sometimes the answers don't come right away, but the simple act of questioning is already a huge step towards change. Self-awareness is a continuous journey, and every insight we gain about ourselves makes us better prepared to face life's challenges. After all, when we know who we are, we can face the world with greater clarity and purpose. Just as a sailor must learn to navigate stormy seas, we too must learn to deal with life's adversities. And for that, we need a compass, something that keeps us on the right course, even when the winds are strong and the waves threaten to knock us down. In Stoicism, this compass is the practice of virtues: humility, courage, justice, and temperance. These virtues are the stars that guide us through the darkness and show us the path to becoming unshakable. Think of humility as the anchor that keeps the ship steady during a storm. It reminds us that no matter how strong we are never invincible on our own. There is always something to learn, and there is always room to grow. True strength doesn't come from an arrogant stance, but from the ability to recognize our limitations and learn from them. Just as a wise sailor acknowledges that they cannot control the sea, we too must recognize that we do not have control over everything, and that humility strengthens us. Courage, on the other hand, is the wind that fills our sails. Without it, we remain stuck in the same place, adrift, with no direction. Courage pushes us forward, makes us face our fears, and drives us towards the unknown. Being courageous doesn't mean not feeling fear, but rather moving forward despite it. Just as the sailor ventures into the vast and unknown ocean, we must have the courage to move on, even when we do not know what awaits us on the other side of the horizon. Justice is the rudder that steers our journey. It helps us stay on the right course, ensuring that our actions are always in harmony with what is just and right. Acting with justice means choosing to do what is right, even when no one is watching, even when the sea is calm and it would be easy to relax. It means ensuring that, as we journey forward, we do not leave behind those who need our help, that we do not sail alone while others face the storm without direction. And finally, temperance is the compass that keeps us balanced. It reminds us that, just as a ship carrying too much weight risks sinking, we too must find balance in our lives. It's not about depriving ourselves of everything, but about knowing how to moderate. It's not about speeding up too much in calm waters or staying still in turbulent waters, but about finding the right pace, the point of balance that allows us to move forward with ease. When we navigate life with these virtues, we become truly unshakable. They give us the direction, the strength, and the balance to face any storm. No matter how rough the sea may be, with humility, courage, justice, and temperance, we will always be able to find our way. Take a moment to think. Which of these virtues is your compass at this point in your life? Perhaps you need courage to face something you've been avoiding, or temperance to find balance amidst the chaos. Reflect on this, and allow these virtues to guide your journey, like the stars guiding a sailor on their voyage. Now that we've talked about the importance of living guided by virtues, there's one last thing we need to highlight: acceptance. Accepting what cannot be changed is like finding shelter in the middle of a storm. It's understanding that, no matter how much we want to change certain aspects of our lives, some things are simply beyond our reach, and that's okay. Accepting this reality brings us a peace that can't be found anywhere else. Many times we fight against things we cannot change. Like trying to swim against the current, we wear ourselves out, get frustrated, and end up exhausted. Acceptance is the act of letting go of the oar and allowing the current to take us where we need to go. This doesn't mean resigning or giving up on action, but rather choosing where to place our energy. There is immense freedom in simply letting go of what we cannot control. I went through this in a difficult moment when I lost someone very dear to me. For a long time, I tried to understand and control that pain, as if I could change what had happened or prevent the suffering from being part of me. It was then that I realized the way forward wasn't to resist, but to accept. Accept the pain, accept the reality, accept that there are things beyond me, and by doing so, I found a peace I never imagined possible. Acceptance is not weakness, it is strength. It is having the courage to recognize that life will not always be as we planned, and that this is part of our growth. By accepting the uncontrollable, we find true serenity. Just like a river that follows its natural course, we learn to flow with life instead of fighting against it. Now I'd like you to reflect. What do you need to accept to find peace? Perhaps it's an event from the past, a loss, or a situation beyond your control. Write in the comments, "I accept what I cannot change," and share what that means to you. By doing this, you're not only freeing yourself from a burden, but also showing others that acceptance is an act of courage. Your story could be the anchor someone needs to find their own peace. Throughout this journey, we've talked about resilience, about the power of focusing on what is within our control, about reframing challenges as opportunities, practicing self-discipline, accepting discomfort, reflecting on who we are, and letting virtues guide our lives. Each of these steps is like a piece of a puzzle which, when assembled, shows us who we can become. A stronger, wiser, braver version of ourselves. Remember, life is not a straight path. It is full of twists, ups and downs, and that is exactly what makes our journey unique and full of meaning. Facing difficulties, accepting what we cannot change, and growing from our experiences are essential parts of our development. Stoicism teaches us that no matter how unpredictable the world out there may be, there is a fortress within each of us that no one can shake. Our mind, our attitude, our ability to choose how we respond. Today, I want you to look in the mirror and see the strength within you. For everything you've been through, for all the battles you've fought, for all the times you've stood up even when it seemed impossible, you are resilient, you are capable, and within you lies an inexhaustible source of strength. No matter how difficult the moment you're facing now, remember, you've already overcome so much, and each challenge has made you stronger. And now, I invite you to be an inspiration to others. Share in the comments what you have learned most from this journey. Say, "I am my own fortress," and tell us what has made you stronger. By sharing your experience, you'll be helping others find the strength within themselves as well. If you liked this content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. And if you know someone who could use a word of encouragement, share this video with them. Sometimes, a message at the right moment can change someone's day, or even their life. Thank you so much for being here with me. Let's keep growing, learning, and getting stronger together. You've already taken an important step today by dedicating this time to your personal growth, and I'm here to continue this journey by your side. See you in the next video.